How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Stay True call. It is Monday. I almost said Thursday. I'm still not used to that yet.
I know, me neither.
Monday, November 21st. And tonight we're going to be talking about, or Courtney's actually going to lead us in talking about challenge groups and getting them to spice up your challenge group. And, I'm sure she'll go over this, but just reiterating to you guys, challenge groups, if you're in a blah or you're not doing the vital behaviors of being a coach and, the 4 vital behaviors, just take it back a step and be a coach. Focus on yourself, focus on your own nutrition, drink your Shakeology, be a product of the product, do a workout program, and start there. The invite and all that stuff, we can get rolling here as you gain your momentum and confidence back. So I just want to keep encouraging everybody. Last week, our top point earners, these were people who had over 100 points in team volume come through their business centers. They were Beth Akins, had 319, Heidi Spangler, 214. I had 161 points, Dan Barry, 158 points, Andrea Evanich, 150 points, Chad Miller, 142 points, Sarah Birch, 135 points, and Regina Sir Lewis, 120 points. Now, Chad Miller, that would basically be Courtney, I believe. Is that right, Courtney?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So congrats to Chad / Courtney. But some announcements in the back office. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the holiday sale is live and rocking. There's some really good deals in there. Foam rollers for like $8 and crazy stuff. I mean, like P90X2 that used to be $120 is like $33 now. So if you guys are looking for Christmas gifts, then this might be a good idea to look on there and give the gift of fitness this year to people. Not a bad idea, actually. So Beth will be getting a foam roller for Christmas.
Oh, no. You're getting the foam roller. I'll use it as a weapon if I get that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, other announcements, go check out the online office. I'm going to lose it here. So, Courtney, call is all yours. Go for it.
Well, first, it's good to see you all again. I was doing a fit club for a few months, and it's now over, and I'm very glad to be back and see you all because it gets kind of you get kind of lonely when you're out there by yourself. I missed you guys. So I don't know about you guys, but for those of you who've been running challenge groups, recently in the last few months, I felt mine were going kind of stale. I wasn't enjoying them as much. I knew they were critical. But if I'm not enjoying it, then my customers probably aren't enjoying it. So I took a step back to try and figure out what needed to be done to make them better. And so I came up with some ideas. I implemented them in my last group that just ended actually yesterday. And it was hands down probably the best group I've ever run in the year and a half that I've been doing groups. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to share with you just some things I did that really helped. And those of you who have run challenge groups for a while, maybe you'll take away 1 or 2 ideas that you can implement. And then those of you who don't run your own challenge groups, maybe this is the time that you take some of this information and you plan ahead. We're coming to a great time of the year where, November and December are kind of slow because of the holidays, but come January, February, March, it's our busy time because you have all these people who want their New Year's resolution to lose weight and to get healthy, and they're motivated. And so if you take this time to plan and plot everything out, you can be on your own in January doing your challenge groups. And not that doing a challenge group with another coach is bad. I did mine with Moppy and with Beth for the first few months, but I noticed my business grew when I challenged myself to do my own challenge groups, because I no longer had the safety net of, well, if I only have 1 or 2 people this month, I'll just do it with Beth and it'll be fine. No, I had the challenge of, if I only have 1 or 2 people, then I don't look good, and it's probably not going to be the best challenge group ever. So it pushed me. So, if you haven't run a challenge group, maybe this is the time you push yourself and see what you can do. And plus you can take away some excellent points, hopefully, and have just the best challenge group ever. So I took 5 of my challengers, 3 people who have been with me for a while now and 2 people who were kind of new. And I asked to have a phone call with them or a Zoom call. And I met with all 5 of them and I asked them a few questions. What did they like about my challenge group? What could have been better? What could I have done better? And what did they feel was missing? And I took all their information that they gave me and I tried to implement it into the challenge group that I ran in November, and there were some great things. One of the things I want to tell you is I did not do this when I first started challenge groups, and I'm noticing it is a big help, is create an event in Facebook. I've done it where I've done it on my like page. I've also done it where I've just done it on my personal page. I haven't figured out which works better yet, but what I've been doing is every time someone comes to me and says they want to do one of my challenge groups, I ask them to accept the invite to the event, and it gives you free advertisement because then it pops up on their page that they're going to this event, and then their friends are going to see it and they're going to click on it. And I've actually gotten a few people that way because they've just clicked interested, and then we start conversations, and then they decide they actually want to join the challenge group. So I've been doing that. And again, this is the perfect time. You know, if you want to start advertising your event in December, telling people, you know, hey, come January when you want to lose those holiday pounds, because the average person puts 7 to 12 pounds on. You know, I have a challenge group that's starting January 16th. We're going to focus on clean eating. We're focusing on this, etc. One of the other things I did was I created a theme to go around the challenge group. And because it was November, we did things that we were thankful for. And so every day I challenged them, post one thing you're thankful for. And, you know, the first week it was easy, you know, family, our house, whatever. And then the second week it got a little more challenging. And the third week it got even more challenging. So maybe if you're running one in December, things that you want for Christmas or, I don't know, some holiday thing. But, you know, in January you can do something you want to change about yourself this year. You know, think about it. If you run a challenge group for 21 days, that's 21 things you want to change about yourself. It makes people think. But it also gives them a common ground for other people to relate to them. And that's the whole key about the challenge groups. You know, that's what makes us stand out. You look at these other companies, and let's be honest, you can find a million different workout programs out there, and they're probably all going to get you some sort of results. What sets us apart are challenge groups. So you've got to make sure those are the best part about the business. I've found that doing a challenge group for 3 weeks is what's working best for me. I can only do 1 challenge group a month. If I do 2, it's a little too much for me with how much time I have allotted to my business. So doing a 3-week, it gives me 3 weeks in the month. It gives me a week off, gives me that week to get ready for my next challenge group. And that is what works for me. I know there's some people who do 30 days. You know, you just got to find what works for you, but make sure you distinguish that ahead of time. Because when you're telling people about your challenge group, you want to make sure they know, okay, it's only 3 weeks or it's only 4 weeks. I can commit to that. This is where I got kind of, well, I've always been like a tough love coach, but this got even tougher. And I was really nervous to tell people this at first, but I think it's what made my challenge group so important. I actually made them sign a contract before they started the challenge group. I actually had to have the signed contract back before I put them in the group. And there were 5 things I made them commit to. 1 was that they had to work out 5 times at least a week. I know most of our programs say 6 or 7, depending on which program you're doing. And I didn't want to have someone fail because, you know, things come up in life. I mean, there's weeks I only get 5 workouts in. So I wanted them to at least be able to commit to doing 5 workouts during the week. The next was they had to commit to doing meal prep, picking a day, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day worked for them, and they had to commit to doing as much meal prep as they could. They had to commit to staying on the meal plan to the best of their ability. They have to post at least once a day in the group, and they have to post on Sunday some of their weekly results. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, scale victory, but they had to post some sort of result that they saw. I asked for them to sign it, and at the bottom of it, I just said, if you do not do as you have said you're going to do, I will take you out of the group. My group started with 24 people and we finished with 20. I actually took 4 people out the second day because they didn't post. And that, I mean, it sucks for them, but I wasn't going to have them bring down, especially when they knew the rules going into this, they signed this, and the first day they decided not to post anything. So I gave them 24 hours, they didn't post, I took them out. But that helped the group know I was serious, and they didn't miss a day posting after that. You want to make sure the rules are clear. So they did have the contract they had to sign. I also did a video just to make sure everybody was aware. And then Monday night, first day of our challenge group, I just posted in there, remember what you committed to. If you've not posted, remember, you have till midnight to post, and then if, then I'll have to take you out if you don't. So they had plenty of reminders. They had 3 reminders, and they chose not to do it. One of the other things I did, which it took a lot of work, it was not fun for me to do, but it made the difference, and it was one of the things they requested. I made 4 weeks of meal plans, which meant that I had, I had a different dinner for every single night in my challenge group for 4 weeks. I did repeat lunches and I did repeat breakfast because all the women in my group are moms and they all need simple. So like for instance, breakfast 4 days a week were the egg bake things that you make in the muffin tins. So you put the vegetables in there, you put the eggs, you bake them. And they love that because here, they made those on Sundays. They had breakfast for 4 days a week. And then I also did, it was from Fixate, the Swiss oatmeal that they do overnight. So, they had those things a few times during the week, but they liked that because it made it easier for them. But I did have a different dinner every night. I got all of the dinners from the Beachbody blog. They weren't things I came up with. But they liked that. The rule for it was they got the next week's meal plan the Thursday before. So they would get the meal plan. Now, if you didn't post or whatever, and I had to take you out of the group, you didn't get the rest of the meal plans. So that also gave them a little emphasis that they had to keep posting, they had to keep commenting. And something that was hard for me, I had to follow the meal plan, and I was posting pictures of me doing my meal prep and showing the egg cups and showing what we were having for dinner, showing that I was following exactly what the meal plan was that I had laid out for them. And what was nice is they made sure they did it as well. So we'd all be sitting down to dinner together having pot roast or whatever, and we'd all be taking pictures showing each other. And, that brought a sense of community. There was something else I was going to say about it. I put all of my recipes in my Google Drive, and I give them the link to that so they can access it. They can't change any of them, but they're all there. Oh, and here was the other thing. Don't do all the work for them. So I follow the 21-day fix meal plan. It's what I've been following for 1.5 years. And as you know, most of the programs that are coming out now follow a very similar meal plan. And so that's how I detail out my meal plan. I would not tell them how many equivalents I had for each day. I just told them this adds up to what I need on my meal plan. So if you are not in the same category, you need to go through and figure out what you need and what you don't. Don't do all the work for them. Make them do some of the work. I mean, it takes a lot of time to put together a meal plan, but at the same time, if they really want to invest, they have to take the time and kind of back into their numbers as well and figure it out. I told all of them they need to print it out, make sure it's on their fridge so they can see it. And I didn't even tell them, but for some reason they started showing me pictures of where it was printed and hanging up. So that was a big job, but now that it's done, I can use that for all of my challenge groups. So that might take you some time to do, but again, it was really easy. And all of the recipes in the Beachbody blog, if you go in, they already are portioned out based on the 21-day fix. They'll tell you serving size, what it's equivalent to in containers. So you don't even have to do that hard work. I used the Fixate cookbook for a lot of it too, and that made it really easy. But all the recipes they liked, they enjoyed, their families liked, which I think surprised all of them as well. For the daily workouts, something I did that helped, I think we get in the habit of posting our pictures, our sweaty selfies, and being like, oh, that was a hard workout, but I pushed through. I took it a step further and just became a little bit more vulnerable. And every day I would post something that I did very well in the workout and something I really struggled with because it gave me something to work towards. I just started Core de Force 2 weeks ago. And so I think it's like the second day, holy push-ups. I mean, I hate push-ups, and I'm doing like more than, it's ridiculous. And so I was honest with the girls and said, I hate push-ups. And here I'm having to do, I lost count. It was just ridiculous how many push-ups I was doing. And I had to follow the modifier for the entire first one, which was kind of embarrassing as the coach. But I wanted to be honest with them and tell them. It gave me, for the next time, something to work towards. And so I told them, on the next time I do this, I want to be able to do 4 push-ups on my toes, and then I'll drop down if I can't do any more. And because I was setting the example of telling them, hey, at least I got through the whole workout, I didn't have to pause it, but I did struggle with the push-ups, and that's where I want to focus next time. They started doing the exact same thing on their posts. They all started telling me what they did well with that workout and where they struggled. I was setting the example without even really thinking about it, and they were following it. So it gave them more information to post. By doing these steps, I don't know how you guys run it, but I do like to have a scheduled post in there every day, just in case something crazy would happen in my life. I wouldn't want to go a day without posting in the group. So I do go in and schedule my post for the entire group. Only one. I try to post 3 times a day. So I have my scheduled one, and then I try to post 2 more times. So it's probably usually like a sweaty selfie, and then something I'm eating, or something I'm, Shakeology, something along those lines. And after about the second day, I didn't even have to post anymore if I didn't want to. These girls, because of the rules I set for them, really just rallied around each other. And, someone would post something they're struggling with, and before I could even comment on it, there'd be 5 or 6 comments already about, you've got this, you can do it. And that was really cool to see. Usually it's the coaches who are always the one commenting, and I would be like the last person to comment. And that was something else I started doing, was letting the other girls comment, because you kind of see who your leaders are, AKA your new coaches. So that was good to see as well. Ways that you can get them engaged: if you have people who say, I don't know what to post, I'm not comfortable posting a sweaty selfie, on the cover photo for your group on Facebook, each week I would change it, and it would be a stupid picture. It was never serious. But on the side, I would put in text in there theme days. So Monday was motivational day, Tuesday was tasty day, Wednesday, whatever. If they had nothing else, then they had those that they could, come up with something motivational to share with the group if you're not comfortable posting a picture of something. I did have one person who was not comfortable, and she did use that, but it gave her something, like they had no excuses to not be able to post about anything. We did something else that I had someone reach out to me and said, I really like this type of food. I don't see anything like that on your meal plan. How can I eat this and still stay on track? So I actually turned into a pick my brain recipe day, and I did it a few times throughout the challenge, and it was, bring me like your comfort food recipe, and let's see if we can find something comparable or how we can make it a little more healthy. And that was like the biggest thing. They got so excited about it, and then they were all throwing ideas together. I think we came out with like 10 new recipes to try. And that was really kind of fun to do, because there weren't things I ever tried before that people were telling me, oh, if you do this, that's healthier. We had someone making mashed potatoes with Greek yogurt, and they loved it. So, I mean, it was just kind of fun to have some different ideas in there. The other thing we didn't do, but was suggested, and it's basically the money bet that Beachbody's doing. However, the girls want to throw in their own money. They want to throw in $10 just as a little added bonus to make them do a little bit better. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to measure it yet, because I'm not a huge fan of the app just yet. My girls just do not like the app, and they just do better on Facebook. So I have to figure out how I'm going to measure it. But, maybe that's an idea for you. Tell people, how about you throw in $10, and if you do great throughout this challenge, you post every day, then you'll get your money back. And if you don't, then we'll divide your money amongst those who do. So those were the ideas I had. I really think making them sign a contract was a big strength for them because, you know, I've let people come into my challenge groups who, you know, they give it 50%, and after the second week, you don't see them anymore. I get tired of going after people to message them privately and say, hey, you know, can you post it in the group? How's it going? You know, I don't want to be chasing people. If you want to be in the group, you want to be in the group. And so by doing this contract, that really set the tone for how the group was going to run, and that really did help. I really think the meal plan helped a lot as well. You know, that it makes it easier. You know, for those of you who started maybe on 21 Day Fix or one of the meal plans with the containers, I remember feeling overwhelmed and confused when I first started. So I think this helps them just get a little bit more comfortable with how it looks and make sure they're doing it right. So those were the ideas I had. They seem to work out. But does anybody have any questions, concerns?
Thanks, Courtney.
Yeah.
I just had 2 comments, or I have 1 question and a comment. You could do, if you don't want to use the app, you could do a Google Doc. We used to do that where it's just the pinned post at the top of the page. So then they could just, you know, click that and log their workout or log their, if they shared a recipe, you know, we used to have like 5 different things on there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I also wanted to ask you, so like these girls that just finished, what are you doing with them now? Like, do they have the option to do another group, or do you put them in a long-term group?
So no, I keep, I've not done the long group yet. I've been considering doing that. But it feels like my challengers go through stages where they really want encouraged for a few months, and then they go out on their own for a few months, and then they come back. So basically, towards the very end of the group, I put in there the event for my group that's going to be starting in December, and just said, you know, since you're a customer of mine, you are always free to join one of my challenge groups. This is where it's going to be. If you want to come, please click that you're coming, and that way I can keep track of who's coming. But again, that gives the free advertisement. So I have I think 12 people in there right now from the current group who want to do that group. And then I just let them know, you know, if you want to break for the holidays, perfectly fine. My next one's going to start January 16th. So I just kind of gave them that information.
Okay.
Cool. Did you guide them? You mentioned you got some of the recipes for the dinners from the Beachbody blog and everything. Did you use any of the tools in the Beachbody not Beachbody on Demand, but the club membership, and cite your source so that they might gain interest in that?
You mean from the Fixate cooking show?
No, I mean from our club membership. There's a whole recipe meal plan.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. That's where they're from.
Okay. Not the blog. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify. But
and I do always tell people, you have access to all these recipes. Go in and they never go in and use them. So.
Yeah, because you can pick, guys, if you don't know this, you can pick vegan plans. You can pick all kinds of stuff in there. But I didn't know. I like the fact that they then relate it to the containers, because before they didn't do that, but they must have updated, or that's good.
It is, because it makes it just so much nicer. Because when you print off this recipe, now you have it right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So, this.
For whoever has a club membership, if you don't know about that, go check that out. Just instead of logging into your club and automatically clicking on the Beachbody on Demand, just look over to the right there in the head row, and you'll see recipes or something, meal plan. And you can find those. It's an awesome resource. Any other questions, comments, ideas, in additions to? I love the contract. That's pretty hardcore. That's good. I'd be afraid that nobody would sign it and get it back to me, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
I think I need to sign my own contracts with myself for these things.
Yeah, you need the contract.
I need the contract. Let's see what other notes. I took a bunch of notes here.
Yeah, I did too. Thanks. For the info.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Good stuff here. Anybody else thoughts? How about some words you mentioned earlier on, just kind of jumping off and doing your own? Can you tell some people in here maybe haven't done that yet? Can you kind of give some words of advice to that note, or anybody else if you want to chime in?
You mean for running your own challenge group?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was actually about this time last fall. I said to Moppy, I want to take my business to the next step. I want to really see it grow. And she supported me, and I had to figure out what that was and what that looked like to me. And I realized that I was using Moppy and Beth as a crutch for letting them run my groups. And I was not connecting with my customers the way I wanted to. And what I realized was they signed up with me because of me. They didn't sign up with me because of Beth. They didn't know Beth until I put them in the group, or Moppy. And I didn't know how to get that connection with them to make them be successful, because I think that's a key part of making our customers successful is they have to have a very good connection with you. And I've seen that. The ones who I've not invested a lot of time in, they fall off. The people who I've really taken the time to invest in, they've had amazing results. And that's the whole key component of why being a coach works. So I just decided that, one, I wanted to push myself to not have a challenge group of just one other person. I wanted to have at least, I think I told Moppy, I'm going after 10 people. I want 10 people in my first challenge group. And it was the first month I actually hit Success Club 10 because I knew I did not want to have just 1 or 2 people in my challenge group. I wanted to have 10. So I really pushed myself to get out there. And, you know, I'll be honest, it was terrifying because it's like, okay, I have these 10 people. Now what do I do with them? And you got to remember, they've never been in a challenge group before. They don't know what it looks like. So it was the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do with them. And, you know, I'll be honest, the first group, it was kind of rough because I felt I needed to be a perfect coach and show them, you know, well, I always eat perfect. Well, they don't want to see that. They want to see that you're human and that you struggle just like they do. And so once I started being vulnerable about, you know, doing Dirty 30 with 21 Day Fix is my favorite workout. However, I feel like I'm going to die right now. You know, then they started relating to my posts a little bit more. Then they started to be on the same level as I was. And that's what really changed my business, I think, was just finally saying, okay, I'm going to go do this on my own. And, you know, I've partnered up with a few people here and there, and that's been fine. But I think it's because I've done it alone for a while that I know where my strengths are. I know how to relate with my customers. But if you've not gone on your own, I mean, even if you have 3 people, like I have a group right now for Quarter Force, and I have 4 people, and they're doing great because they've built an intimate connection with each other, and they're encouraging each other. They don't know each other at all except for through this group, and that's perfectly fine. They don't know what a challenge group typically looks like. I mean, that's the beauty of this business is you make it look like however you want it to make it look.
Right. No,
yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
I think it's important for people to know, like, it's not hard to create, like some people are, you know, I don't know how to create it. It's so easy to create it. I mean, sometimes the hardest part is finding a stupid picture for the cover that you like, you know, or one that fits.
You spend more time doing that than anything else.
Right. But then just know that, like, if you go off and run a group on your own and someone asks you a question like about nutrition or about a workout and you don't know the answer, you don't have to comment on anything. You can say, hey, I'll find out and get back to you, or just message, you know, post it and stay true. Message someone. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it is easier to connect with your customers when you're the main coach in there. And I mean, I've run groups with, you know, I have a bunch of coaches in a lot of my groups, and that it's totally fine. But definitely, like, when I started my business, it was just me running them. I mean, Glenn isn't a big challenge group person, so even if he was in there, he wasn't posting. But I think it's good. Like once you run one, then you're like, oh, okay, that's how it went. And then you're like, okay, now you know what you want to change about the next one, or duplicate. You just save those posts like that were really successful, and got interaction with people. So,
and if you don't know what to post, this was news to me. If you go into the Coach Online office and click on the program, if you have nothing else, they have like posts for every single day, like even from before, like a week before, like getting people ready. So if you have nothing else and you are too terrified, you at least have those. You can use that.
And those are great posts. Like I'm using those right now for Core to Force because there's a video from Joel and Jericho for every Monday at the beginning of the week. I mean, those are especially good for new groups. Like it's hard when you have the same people doing the same group over and over, then you have to get a little more creative. But I mean, definitely you guys are all capable of, running one and then maybe going back with someone else just for variety. But good info. Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, awesome. Any questions, thoughts? All right, I'll take that as a no. So we will get this posted.
You guys.
Yes, everyone safe travels. Have a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see.
We'll have a call next Monday.
Next Monday.
Once we're all back, yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Good night, everyone.
Night.